Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. I just want to know, ain't y'all tired of hearing about this migrant crisis and all this money that the government is giving to the sanctuary states and cities to help the migrants, I don't know, adapt to this country, although they came over here illegally. And it's crazy because you have the Republicans and the Democrats going head to head. And you got these Democrats who are saying that it's the Republicans' fault because they won't help support a bipartisan bill to help the migrants that come over here. But yet, it's one of those things where shouldn't you be worrying about the root cause of things instead of putting a bandage over the wound? Shouldn't you try to figure out why you have wounds in the first place and to stop it? That's what we do in the medical field. We try to figure, well, some of us try to figure out what's the root cause of it, and let's deal with that. If we can fix that, if we can correct that, then more and more people won't suffer. But for some reason, to me, it's all about money. It's just a legal way of money laundering. Bottom line, they don't care about the migrants. They don't care about us. It's about money laundering, getting money in their pockets so they can be okay. Because they done messed up so much with the money that they had. They got to find ways to bring money into the cities, into the states, so they can keep the economy afloat, period. And it's just going to hurt the common person, the poor people in the long run. But hey, they have to figure something out because they done screwed up until this point. So what do? Let's let the migrants come in, period. We're going to act like we're fighting each other about it. But in it, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to get the money. Either way, we're going to get money for it. Regardless, we're going to get money for, like I said, our communities. Like I said before in the video, you have in government or in business, you just think, well, hell, even in your home, it should be this way. You have budgets and you have money allocated for certain things. You may have money that's set aside for something you may think you need. Let's say you think you may need 10,000. This is just on the home front. Think you may need like 10,000 set aside for, to fix things around the house. But somehow you're able to maintain it for a lot less than what you have saved, but you are dead set on not using that money, right? So now the money's just sitting there. So what do you do with it? Well, you just sit there and let it save up. You can probably put it in some investments or whatever, so it can build and it can grow, continue to grow. Or you may, next year you may cut that budget because you don't need to raise $10,000 more every year. You just keep that budget there. And so now you got money that can be allocated to other things. So you gotta learn how to move the money, but you have extra money. And when it comes to like politics, people see that extra money and they'll be like, maybe I can put that in my pocket. Or in business, you see people money laundering, you see people taking money from their own companies, stealing because they found a way to get a hold of it and they think people are not watching. But in the end, people will watch. People will see what's going on, like your Tiffany Henyard. And I know there've been mayors in Dallas in the past. There was a Hispanic lady who was caught like stealing a bunch of money and like redoing her house and buying furniture and things of that nature because she thought nobody gonna see the money. But in the end, if you run out of money, now there's a problem. So you already have money allocated for migrants, homeless people, what have you, and you're not spending it because it's not a big influx of migrants coming in to your city. So what do? You find a way to flood the gates. Oh, what they say? Let the floodgates open. Open up the floodgates. There we go. And so now they're coming in. You got a governor in Texas. He's like, man, I'm not taking all these migrants because we ain't got money like that. What? We're going to ship them up to these other cities. to these sanctuary cities. We're gonna send him to the White House, and then sanctuary city people run their mouth about him shipping stuff to the White House or to DC or to Martha's Vineyard. So like, okay, you know what? Then we'll just ship them to you guys so y'all can have some. So now they're like, yay, we'll help y'all, but then now we can use that money for the migrants. When in actuality, they probably want to use that money for something else. They need a reason. Well, you know, we need $50 million, and because it's going to be $45 million for administration fees. And that's how and that's how it goes. But anyway, let's get into this story, because you gotta stop voting blue. This is from the Los Angeles Times, and it reads: Biden administration gives California $45 million to help recently arrived migrants. Now, California ain't got no money as it is. Y'all do know that, right? They like got a debt. They got some kind of, they in millions, maybe billions. I know they in millions of dollars in debt. And that's why you got a lot of people moving, a lot of businesses moving. You got businesses shutting down in areas that they've been for decades because the crime rate is up, the homelessness is up. People can't afford to live there. And people and businesses are moving out of the state of California. And it's not looking good for California. So let's get to the article. It says the Biden administration is allocating $45 million to California programs that help migrants who have crossed the southern border. The money is part of a $300 million national effort announced Friday by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, see, like I said, they have this money. The government give people money. Understand that. They just print money, and they give this money allocated to people with your tax dollars. They get all this money, and they say, okay, let's spread it out amongst these areas. Most of the California funding will be split between San Diego County and the Catholic Charities Diocese of San Diego. More than $6 million goes to Riverside County. Now, this is funny because I see this. I saw a story the other day where like this shut down Catholic school somewhere was about to reopen to house. Like what are they doing? They loaning the building to the government, the city, for free, right? It's a Catholic school that's no longer being used. They loan it to them for free so that they can house migrants. Crazy, right? Don't believe the hype. There's no way in the world you loan something for free. Now, what they're probably doing is not charging them rent in exchange for the government paying bills, the government paying administration costs, whatever it costs to maintain and uphold the building. I'm sure the government is paying these Catholic folk that money. Now, they might not, like I said, so they're not technically charging rent. So it's like, yeah, and they're probably getting tax breaks. Well, not like Catholics, so they shouldn't be getting charged tax at all, right? So they're probably getting some other kind of breaks. But trust me, they're getting something out of it, one way or another. Matter of fact, let me click on this link to where it say about where this 300 million. The FEMA website. Shelter and Services Program Awards for fiscal year 2024. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security will provide $640.9 million available funds to enable non-federal entities to offset allowable costs incurred for services associated with non-citizen migrant arrivals in their communities. Funding will be distributed through two opportunities: $300 million through SSP allocated and $340.9 million through SSP competitive. So that's like a grant where people just write your little old letter of why you think you need the money, send it in, give you a presentation. They'll say, okay, hey, we'll give you this much money. But basically it's like still $641 million going to these applicants. So you got some counties, you got them in Arizona, California, Colorado, DC, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts or Maine? Probably Maine. No, Maine and Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Mexico, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and a few in Texas. Quite a few in Texas. A whole lot in Texas. But Texas is where the migrants come through, just like California is where the migrants come, where they come through mainly. Most of these are like border states, like Arizona, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico. But let's go back to this article real quick because this is aggravating me. An additional $341 million will be used to establish a competitive grant. I already read about that. It's less funded than programs helping migrants had hoped for, representing an 18% cut from last year's $780 million total. But California overall share is $3 million higher than last year's. Share is $3 million higher than last year. San Diego's allotment rose by $10 million. Border nonprofits include Jewish Family Services of San Diego. That's another thing you got to look into. The Catholics and the Jewish people seem like they are the front runners in these services to help migrants. And you do realize when it comes to money, these two religions or way of life have the most in the world. The Catholics and the Jews, because the Catholics, is over. Shoot, man, you know how much money the Catholic Church got. You know how much money the Jewish people have. So it's interesting that they are doing this and getting more money to do these services, these non-profit services now. In an announcement Friday, the Department of Homeland Security called on Congress to pass a stalled bipartisan national security bill that included more border funding and other assistance. That's what needs to happen, period. Why is it you have $600 million to help the cities and these organizations once these migrants come into the country, but you don't have $690 million to secure the border? $690 million could, build walls, hire more federal troops, border patrol. Build facilities like you're trying to build all these prisons and that you're building around the country for criminals, for your American citizens. But yet these migrants come in, commit crimes, and you let them out. They come in illegally. You let them go and say, hey, we're going to give you a phone. When your court date comes up in 6 years, you make sure you answer that phone. You're doing things after the fact and not correcting the problem. The problem is, like I said, you open the floodgates. They can come in with impunity. They call it impunity, without being touched, without being, without having to worry about any kind of repercussions. And now they're here. Now you got to house them. You got to feed them. You got to clothe them. You got to try to help them get a job if they want a job. And that costs money. But again, like I say, to me, it's a tax racket. It's a money grab. It's just a racket. It's just ways for them to get $690 million so they can, keep their jobs. And because you think about it, if you fix a problem, people don't need you no more, right? Like seriously, like if they build a wall and they put more troops along the borders, more staff at these checkpoints, keeping people from coming in the country, or make sure they come in the right way, then you really don't need these sanctuary cities. You don't need these hotels. You don't need the people working in these made up organizations to help these migrants. You don't need it no more. That's anything. Just like think about your jobs right now with AI and these like kiosks in these fast food restaurants, or these robotic waiters and waitresses coming and bringing you your food. Or they building these Taco Bells that have no employees on the inside, little flippy that flip burgers for you at these ball stadiums. This stuff alleviates jobs, right? So then you can say, well, okay, now we can pay people $20 an hour, but it means we got to let some of y'all go. right? So it's like, wait a minute, that's not what we was hoping for. Well, that's how it's got to be. My point is, if you just like, okay, well, I may flip it because, you know, it'll keep, you know, people get sick, they call in. Sometimes we behind, we don't have enough people to work here. Or I got the kiosk because I got a man here mopping the floor and taking orders at the same time with tattoos running up and down his neck. That's not good for business, long-term old money. So yeah, we put little robots up there. They go in there and make their own orders. I mean, I like it, but the youngsters, they gonna come, they'll be all right. They'll figure it out. They'll like that and move on. And think nothing, pretty soon you won't have people around who remember somebody at the front desk, at the counter taking your order. But if I can, you know, get rid of, solve a problem for aesthetics, people who call in, people who go on vacation, people who get pregnant, who need to take leave, and replace them with robots. Now I can keep my business open 24/7, never have a problem. People can come in and get burgers, fries, and whatever they want any time of the day, 24 hours a day. I don't need y'all, so I can fire y'all. So if I can put people at the border, put more checkpoints, more troops, give troops more little bean bags and, you know, what they call, and rubber bullets for people trying to cross the border, keeping them folks back. If I do that, I don't need these, I don't need the Jewish or Catholic communities or whoever else, all these little organizations to sit here and fight for the migrants to get what they need. Don't need them no more, so they can be fired. So like I say, sometimes you got to look deeper, because when you look at something, you see something so much, and you see two entities arguing, acting like they fighting each other, and you're like, wait a minute, something's not right. It's like war nowadays. I can understand maybe back 100 years ago if a war may lasted weeks, months, maybe years. But nowadays, really, when you got the technology, when you got drones that Iran just up and just started shooting it out and start shooting at Israel, really? And you got technology where they got technology where you can put an app on your phone and you can, you know, see your house like right now, see your house, see your car. They got apps on cars now to where you can look and see your car, a real-time picture, not a little computerized, but a real-time video, a picture of where your car is right now. And as it moves with you. Crazy, right? Then you're going to tell me that war got to take months and years when you know where these people are at? You can find these people at any time and just take them out and be done with it. Man, this is all a money racket. Understand, they are all pulling the wool over your eyes, which is frustrating, because now you got to figure out what the heck do we do about it? What can we do about it? Because it's not going to get better. I don't even think it's going to get too much better with Trump. By the time Trump get in, he'll probably, you know, stop him from coming in. He probably will send them out. It's probably like, you know, to me, it's a game. So Biden brings them in, get all the money they need to help keep the economies going. And then Trump will get back in. And then he'll ship them all back out, but the money's still here. Because the money that was allocated has already been released. You know how your girl Fonnie Willis? Wow, how I came back around to her. Fonnie Willis, how they investigating her because she asked for money because they had like a backlog of cases. And she got the money and then turned right around and used the money for something different. And she had the nerve to say that, well, hey, the money is already released. You can't tell me what to do with the money because it's our money now. But it's like, that's not what you asked for the money for. You see what I'm saying? How she did that. She does it. She gets caught. Them folk do it. They don't get caught. They just know how to play the game to make you think that, oh man, my hands are tied. I don't know what to do. But they already done got what they wanted. You see what I'm saying? Man, I'm sick of reading this stuff. It said California Governor Gavin Newsom praised the administration and blamed House Republicans for failing to provide enough money to deal with the crisis. Let's be clear, President Biden is doing all he can to fund border security. That's bull crap. No, he not, because he just used almost $690 million and give it to you. If he could do all he could, that $690 million would went straight to the border. Let's keep these folks out. To fund the border security and humanitarian efforts with Republicans in Congress are choosing border chaos for political gain. Republicans blame Biden for mishandling the border and argue that FEMA resources should be spent on American families struggling with homelessness and not arriving migrants. Exactly. Now that I agree with. It should be spent on the citizens here because this is too much homelessness, too much poverty in this country to allow other poor folk to come in here and just bring the country even further down. Interior states, including Illinois, Colorado, and New York, also got funding. Texas, Florida, and Arizona leaders have spent millions transporting migrants to Democratic strongholds since 2022 in an effort to force places with more welcoming immigration policies to share the responsibility of caring for recent arrivals. I like the way that was stated. It said California has funded humanitarian services for migrant release from federal custody at the border, including $151 million last year. But with the state facing a massive deficit, no border funding has been budgeted this year. What kind of deficit they have? Let's see if it'll show me. Newsom calls it a gimmick. Now he's using the trick to lower California's massive deficit. Dang it. Go back. Go back. I don't want to see that. Yeah, they ain't talk about Jewish family services. The shelter has space for around 1,000 and provides the most vulnerable migrants, those with young children or who are sick or injured or who are LGBTQ. Really? Time to rest, charge their phones, call loved ones, and coordinate travel plans. In March, federal agents arrested nearly 34,000 migrants in San Diego region, up from 23,000 a year ago. And you see them video where these folks are like coming on these boats, jumping off these little boats and running on these beaches past these people, just running into the city, and then no one's there to stop them. San Diego has remained number 2 region for arrivals after Tucson since stepped up enforcement by the Mexican government led migrants to shift away from Texas. There you go with that. That's what I'm talking about. The great Greg Abbott. As migrant arrivals at the California-Mexico border have increased, Customs and Border Protection has turned to street release and holding migrants between border walls to reduce the number of people in the short-term facilities. So basically saying just releasing them. This is crazy. It's important for us to have all levels of government be part of the solution. Clark said immigration is within the federal government's purview, but at the end of the day, California is a border state. Like I said, to me personally, it's just all a game, a gimmick. It's just a money grab. It's just, a way to legally launder money. Period. Like I say, the biggest question is, what can we as citizens do about it? We can vote. So here's what the thing is. I do believe 2024 is the year of revelation. Now, I don't mean technically like biblical where, fire and brimstones coming down out the skies and destroying the whole planet. No, not like that or whatever. Wars in the clouds. Well, it could be wars in the clouds because that's what's going on right now. I'm talking about revelation as things will be revealed to everyone about what's really going on both sides of the fence. Because this year you got a presidential election. And the issue that the government is going to have is, and the people are going to have to battle with is that we've seen Trump in office and we've seen Biden in office and we are seeing Biden in office. Now, if we mess around and put Trump back in office and things don't get better, or there's always this woe is me, I can't do nothing because, if we hear that, then we should know that there's something going on behind the scenes with both parties. And I try to tell you, it's two wings on the same bird. They look like they fighting, they act like they can't stand each other, but yet they making sure that the outcomes are always the same. Every now and then they may lean this way, every now and then they may lean that way, but you can't lean too far because everything's got to be right here, always, somehow. Somehow, if it goes too far this way, now we got to go way over here, which is why I think when Trump got in the office and he stopped, creating war, stop, being involved in battles, bringing troops back home, I think that messed up the status quo with the government. Because, wars create money. Wars fund countries. So if you're not battling, now you got to find another way to make money. Now you're losing all this money. So now once he got out of office, now here comes Biden. And now we are back fighting. We're back involved with other people's wars. We are actually letting people who are self-proclaimed terrorists into the country. So we know that they're probably trying to do things, create things in this country to disrupt it. So now you have to have military, so you can have all the money in the world for military. Your budget for the military, I believe it can be like infinite. If you need to protect your country or you need to protect others, allies, you got all the money in the world. So I think that's where this far leftism is coming from, with them doing things that makes no sense with Israel and Ukraine, Palestine, Russia, Iran's now in part of it, and the migrants, because Trump kind of took away the golden egg. The goose that lays the golden egg, the goose over here, when he came in and just said, hey, this is what they're doing. Let's just disrupt it all. And everybody's like, yay, pissed them Democrats off. So now they got to go way over here so that way they can bring it back to the middle. And unfortunately, we're going to be the ones that suffer. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story, man. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world, man. Let's dialogue. You know how we do it around here. Like to have smart, intelligent conversations. You know what I'm saying? Learn me something, people. Learn me something. Support the channel. There are 4 ways you can support the channel non-monetarily. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Do all for help boost the video, help boost the channel and the algorithm so that I can get more support and help, how do you say it? Help improve the channel, the content, and the delivery. If you want to support monetarily, you can do super chat, super things, and there are links in the description boxes you can click on. But however you support, whether it's monetary or non-monetary, I thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm happy for it. If you want to get at me, if you got any story ideas, or if you want to, discuss anything with me, hit me up at soul in the soil at gmail.com. That's soulinthesoil at gmail.com. And with that being said, I leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.